You've been lied to by dealerships, mechanics, and even your car's manual. That's why most cars never make it past 200,000 miles. But today, I'm sharing 20 brutally effective habits that pushed my car beyond 700,000 miles. These tricks save engines, bankrupt mechanics, and keep your car running decades longer. Stick around, because the last habit takes less than 2 minutes, but it can stop a $10,000 engine disaster. Let's start with something your dashboard won't warn you about, but your wallet will feel it. At number 20, replace oxygen sensor early. This tiny part quietly burns extra fuel and melts your catalytic converter without ever triggering a warning light. Losing 2 to 3 miles per gallon without a single warning light? That's often your upstream oxygen sensor aging out, quietly throwing off your fuel trim and cooking your catalytic converter one rich cycle at a time. This tiny probe lives in a 1600-degree Fahrenheit exhaust stream, flipping voltage dozens of times per second to help your engine balance air and fuel. But after 90,000 to 110,000 miles, the sensor slows down, the readings lag, the ECU overfuels, and the converter runs hotter, sometimes by 90 degrees, melting its core long before anyone notices. Don't wait for a check engine light and smoother idle immediately after replacing a lazy sensor. Use a $30 Bluetooth scan tool and watch switching speed at 2000 RPM. Fewer than 4 flips per second? Swap it. One $60 sensor prevents a $2,400 converter bill, and it can get you 50 miles farther on every tank. That's a trade you only have to make once a decade. The next one might sound harmless, until your steering system gives out in traffic. At number 19, back off steering at full lock. Most drivers ruin their steering pump without realizing it. This common habit cooks it in seconds. When you crank the wheel until it won't go any further and just leave it there, you're cooking your power steering system alive. Literally. The pump, still spinning hard, forces fluid through a tiny bypass hole. That turns 6 horsepower into heat, fast. Tests have measured over 250-degree Fahrenheit in less than 10 seconds. That kind of heat kills fluid, warps seals, and shaves metal off your steering components like a grinder. The pump starts to whine, the rack stiffens, and suddenly, a simple parking maneuver becomes a $1,000 repair. Holding the wheel too long at full lock wears things faster than people think. Fleets that teach drivers to ease off a hair double the life of their steering pumps. The fix? The second you feel the wheel hit the stop, back off just a quarter turn. That tiny move drops pressure, cools the system, and keeps your fluid healthy. It's a small habit that protects one of your car's most overlooked and expensive systems. Number 18, preheat before you start. Cold starts are brutal. In the first minute of cranking, your engine faces more wear than in dozens of warm starts. The oil is thick like molasses, pistons haven't expanded, and metal parts are rubbing dry. Lab tests show up to 70% of engine wear happens in this exact moment, when everything's cold, tight, and under-lubricated. Skip preheating, and you risk fuel washing down the cylinder walls, oil thinning out, and piston rings dragging on cold liners. That kind of damage doesn't show up today. It shows up 100,000 miles later as blow-by, oil loss, and ruined bearings. The fix? Use a block heater with a cheap outdoor timer. Set it to run for 2 to 3 hours before your drive. It warms the block just enough for oil to flow quickly and parts to fit better. Bonus: faster starts, less fuel use, and less scraping frost off your windshield. It's a $50 habit that silently buys you another 300,000 miles. The next habit sounds simple, but it's how you keep a $1,000 failure from becoming a weekly gamble. Number 17, always set the parking brake. Skipping this one simple habit slowly destroys your transmission, one parking job at a time. Every time you skip the parking brake, you're betting your transmission on a 6-ounce steel finger. That's the size of the parking pal, an internal latch that locks your wheels when you shift into park. It might seem solid, but this tiny part takes a beating when you let your car roll even slightly after parking. On a hill, the stress can spike past 1,400 Newton meters, focused on a tooth no wider than your fingertip. Over time, that pressure cracks metal, jams shifters, or snaps the powel clean off. One Nissan recall hit over 200,000 trucks that could roll away in park. Replacing a broken pall? Up to $3,500, with metal shards often contaminating the rest of your transmission. But there's a simple fix. Before you let go of the brake pedal, engage the parking brake, especially on hills. This offloads the strain to the wheel brakes, where it belongs. Done right, your shifter stays smooth, the powell stays clean, and your drivetrain avoids years of silent wear. Before we move on, subscribe for more brutally honest car advice that dealerships really hope you never hear. It's free, and it might just keep your car alive another decade. Number 16, change that diff oil. Ignore this forgotten fluid, and your rear end will start howling long before you hit the highway. Most people never touch their differential oil until the rear end starts howling or the truck ends up on a flatbed. And by then, it's usually too late. Inside that metal housing under your car is a hypoid gear set that doesn't roll. It slides under thousands of pounds of torque. That sliding needs sulfur-rich oil to protect the teeth. When those additives burn off, it's bare metal chewing itself apart. And it's not just wear. Diffs breathe through vents. After water crossings or cold starts, they suck in moisture, which flashes into steam and rusts the gears from the inside out. One Silverado owner called it pouring glitter when he drained his rear axle. $20,500 mistake. You can dodge all that with one simple habit. Swap the gear oil every 30,000 to 60,000 miles depending on use. It takes about 45 minutes, costs less than a tank of gas, and protects a system that was never designed to forgive neglect. Quiet gears stay alive longer, often past 400,000 miles. Number 15, stop fueling after click. One extra squeeze at the pump can quietly wreck your fuel system, and it happens every day. That click at the gas pump, it's not a suggestion, it's a shut up and walk away moment. Going for one more squeeze floods your car's evap system with raw gas, and that's not where fuel's supposed to go. Instead of evaporating into the charcoal canister like it should, liquid gasoline swamps it, clogging the pores, killing the valve seals, and setting off a slow-motion emission system failure. Drivers who keep topping off often face a weird stutter right after fueling, or that annoying click-click-click when the nozzle refuses to fill. Some end up with a $900 canister replacement for the extra 70 cents of gas they tried to cram in. It's an easy fix. Next time the nozzle shuts off, count to 5, hang it up, and walk away. Let vapor be vapor. That one little habit can keep your check engine light off, your tank breathing right, and your wallet safe from the most expensive barbecue briquettes you'll ever buy. Engines get the spotlight, but the next habit protects something way more critical, your ability to stop. Number 14, flush brake fluid regularly. Your brake system's biggest threat isn't worn pads. It's this hidden fluid most drivers forget. Most people wait for squeaky pads, but brake fluid quietly kills systems long before that. It absorbs water from the air, even inside sealed lines. Just 2 to 3% moisture drops the boiling point enough to turn one hard stop into vapor lock. You press the pedal and it sinks, because now you're compressing steam, not fluid. But that's only part of the damage. Moisture-laced fluid eats copper from inside the brake lines, rusts calipers, and even corrodes the heart of your ABS system. One ABS module failure, that's a $200 surprise. A stuck caliper, easily $900, and that's per axle. The fix? Flush the brake fluid every 2 to 3 years, no matter how it looks. A $40 DIY flush or a $150 shop visit clears out the gunk before it wrecks expensive parts. Mark the cap with the last flush date and test yearly with a $10 strip. It's silent maintenance, but it can save your life and your wallet. Stopping power matters, but the next habit is about what keeps your engine from destroying itself mid-drive. Number 13, change timing belts early. This one belt failure can instantly destroy your entire engine, and there's no warning before it snaps. One snap and it's over. That little black belt under your timing cover, it keeps pistons and valves from colliding at highway speeds. If it slips or breaks, even by a single tooth, your engine instantly grenades. Think bent valves, cracked pistons, a $4,000 rebuild, and most owners don't even know it's coming. The scary part? Timing belts rarely show warning signs. Heat, age, or oil contamination slowly rot them from the inside out. In hot climates, they can crack years before the mileage is up. Some belts are rated for 100,000 miles, but smart mechanics and fleet techs replace them at 60,000 to 80,000 or 6 years. Whichever hits things first. Don't just swap the belt. Replace the tensioner, idlers, and water pump as a kit. Skip one, and you'll be back in there months later. It's a one-day job that protects the whole engine. Treat it like cheap insurance, not a gamble you can afford to lose. Number 12, add a transmission cooler. Overheating your transmission even once can cut its lifespan in half. This simple upgrade prevents that. Tow heavy once without extra cooling, and you might be halfway to a $3,000 rebuild. Most automatic transmission failures, up to 90%, trace back to one silent killer: heat. Every 20-degree Fahrenheit rise above the safe zone cuts your fluid life in half. Hit 250 and seals harden. Push past 290 and clutch plates start to burn. Towing a trailer, hauling gear, or climbing long grades sends your transmission fluid soaring. A simple air-to-oil cooler can knock 20 to 50 degrees off that number. That's not comfort, it's survival. Real-world tests show the difference between a healthy Tundra and one limping off Colorado's Ike Gauntlet is just 30 degrees. The fix is bolt-on simple. Mount a stack plate cooler in front of your radiator, plumb it in line with the return line, and top up with fresh fluid. Even with a shop, it's $300 well spent. And if you do it yourself, that's a weekend project that just doubled your transmission's life. Cooling helps, but the next habit protects your drivetrain from tearing itself apart at every stoplight. Number 11, do the engine mount test. That slight vibration you feel at stoplights? It could be your engine slowly tearing itself apart. One bad mount can quietly destroy thousands in parts. A worn mount lets the whole engine twist like a loaded spring. Every throttle tap sends it lurching, slamming into hoses, wires, even the exhaust. Drivers feel a little vibration, but what's actually happening is a 300-pound engine hammering your subframe on every red light. This pounding cracks radiator hoses, snaps flex pipes, and ruins axle seals. Miss it early, and you could face a $2,000 overheat or $4,000 transmission teardown. And yet most people never check them, because engine mounts aren't on any dashboard reminder. The fix? Run the death test once a year. With the hood open and your foot on the brake, lightly gas it to 2,000 RPM. If the engine jumps more than an inch, the mount is toast. A $100 part and 90 minutes in the driveway can save your drivetrain, your wallet, and your sanity. Catch it early, and your car stays tight and smooth, well past 700,000 miles. Number 10, check harness for chafing. A single rubbed wire can shut your car down, or worse, light it up. When copper touches bare metal, it sends full battery power surging through plastic insulation. That's how Ford recalled nearly 900,000 trucks. One wire rubbed by the axle triggered the parking brake at 70 miles per hour. Modern cars pack over a mile of wiring into tight spaces. Every pothole, engine twist, or missing clip turns those looms into saws slowly cutting into themselves. And it's sneaky. No check engine light, no clue, until you're stranded or smelling burnt plastic under the hood. The fix is stupidly easy. At every oil change, run your hand along the wiring. Feel for soft spots, exposed copper, or anything rubbing metal. Wrap suspect areas in cloth loom tape or slide on a heat-rated sleeve. 10 zip ties in 5 minutes can prevent a $3,000 meltdown that nobody sees coming until they do. You'll survive a short, but ignore this next one, and your engine won't. Number 9, never ignore overheating signs. One spike into the red, and your aluminum head might warp just enough to pop the head gasket. That's not just a $40 thermostat anymore. It's a $1,500 repair or the end of the car. Modern engines use aluminum heads that expand twice as fast as the block. At 250 Fahrenheit, that head starts softening. 5 minutes of high heat, and your engine could be toast. What's worse? Most coolant gauges are dumbed down. They stay dead center until things are already critical. Overheating snowballs fast. Oil thins, pistons detonate, bearings wear, and limp mode kicks in. Some drivers try to nurse it home, only to find themselves stuck with a cooked engine. Don't. Keep a digital temperature readout. Flush coolant every 60,000 miles or 5 years. If you see steam, smell sweet coolant, or lose cabin heat at idle, pull over. Shut off, let it cool. A gallon of premix and a $40 cap beats a $5,000 rebuild. Number 8. Change ATF every 60,000 miles. Sealed for life doesn't mean sealed forever. Open up one of those so-called lifetime fill transmissions at 100,000 miles, and what you'll often find is sludge-thick fluid and a pan magnet wearing a fur coat of metal dust. Automatic transmission fluid does 4 things. It powers shifts, cools clutches, lubricates gears, and cleans up debris. But once the heat hits 210 degrees Fahrenheit, and it does, especially in traffic, that fluid starts breaking down fast. What used to be smooth red oil turns into liquid sandpaper grinding away inside the valve body. Ignore it, and you're staring down a $5,000 rebuild. A smart fix? Drain and refill just 4 to 6 quarts every 60,000 miles. It's a $160 job that takes 2 hours at home, or $250 at a good shop. Use only the factory-specified fluid. Warm up the car, crack the fill plug first, and don't overfill. That's it. Keep your shifts clean, your converter healthy, and your wallet intact. Number 7. Flush steering fluid regularly. Most people never touch their power steering fluid until the pump starts groaning like a busted blender. By then, it's too late. That red fluid does more than assist your turns. It cools, lubricates, and seals high-pressure moving parts at up to 1,300 psi. But after 30,000 to 50,000 miles, heat cooks it down into thick, black sludge. That turns your fluid into liquid sandpaper, scarring pump veins, shredding seals, and pitting the rack. A new rack and pump? Try $2,000 or more. The fix? A $20 fluid swap every few years. Use a turkey baster or small pump to pull out the old stuff, then refill and cycle the wheel lock to lock. Repeat until it runs clear, usually 3 to 4 quarts. Always match the correct spec. Many Toyotas use ATF. European cars often need synthetic CHF 202. Mix the wrong stuff, and you'll wreck the system. Do this one habit, and your steering stays tight, quiet, and trouble-free past 300,000 miles. Number 6. Refresh hoses and thermostat. A $20 hose can quietly total an $8,000 engine. That's not drama. It's what happens when old rubber bursts at 220 degrees Fahrenheit and coolant vanishes in seconds. One stuck thermostat, and you've got a red-hot aluminum head warping before you've even merged off the shoulder. Most head gasket failures start here, not from some big bang, but from a tiny part that never got changed. Rubber hoses don't last forever. They're flexing, baking, and aging every time the engine heats up and cools down. On the outside, they may look fine, but inside, they're cracking, softening, or shrinking where you can't see, especially near the clamps. Thermostats? Same story. One stuck open, and the engine runs cold, burning extra gas and building up carbon. One stuck closed, and you're looking at a tow truck. So swap the full hose set and thermostat every 100,000 miles or 10 years. It's cheap, easy, and exactly what high-mileage fleet shops do. Think of it as a new lease on life for your engine. Metal breaks loud, but the next failure starts silent and soaks your car's brain. Number 5. Hunt leaks immediately. One soaked carpet can ruin the smartest part of your car. Hidden under that soft padding are dozens of control modules, your car's brain cells, and they hate water. Even a half-cup leak turns that space into a slow-cooking circuit bath. Moisture starts eating away at copper, creeping up wires like a wick, until weeks later, your dash goes haywire, or your car won't start. It's not rare. BMWs drown their footwell modules from clogged sunroof drains. Fords drip through windshield gaps and short the body computer. Volkswagens, they flood under the seat where the comfort module hides. Repairs run from $700 to over $10,000. So check the drains. Pour a cup in the sunroof tray and watch where it exits. Pop trim and use a cheap moisture meter. Reseal vapor barriers. A $10 tool, some butyl tape, and a garden hose can stop an electrical flood. Keep your cabin bone dry because corrosion doesn't show up on a scan tool until it's too late. Number 4, skip pressure washing the engine. One 60-second blast can cost you $1,000. Pressure washers push water at 1,100 to 2,000 psi, strong enough to drive past coil seals, flood spark plug wells, and soak delicate ECU connectors that were only designed for rain splash. What looks like a clean engine bay, it's often the start of a misfire, a ruined coil, or an electrical ghost that shows up months later. The worst part? It's common. Forums are full of "help, car won't start after wash" posts. One Tacoma owner called water in the plug wells the #1 reason for misfires. Audi tech bulletins even warn mechanics to remove plugs before spraying down engines, because water down there means a coil short or melted cat isn't far behind. Instead, wipe first with a dry towel, use citrus degreaser on trouble spots, and rinse gently with a garden hose. Cover coils, fuse boxes, and the alternator with plastic bags. A leaf blower and a 10-minute idle afterward clears moisture safely. Clean smart, not high-pressure reckless. We're down to the final 3, and the last one could save your entire engine. But before we get there, let's talk about one tiny wire that decides whether your car lives or dies. Number 3, clean ground connections regularly. Cars don't die from age, they die from bad electrons. One corroded ground strap can drop system voltage by 1 to 2 volts and make your alternator work overtime trying to compensate. That heat cooks diodes, starves modules, and fries your starter, all while your dash stays quiet. GM once traced a wave of no-start Silverados to a single loose bolt. A Minnesota shop fixed random misfires and flickering lights by cleaning one crusty lug. It's the hidden domino. Low voltage confuses sensors, kicks your car into limp mode, and eats expensive parts until one finally quits for good. Once or twice a year, pop the hood. Find the battery to body, engine to body, and alternator to block grounds. Unbolt each, brush it to shiny metal, and tighten it back down with a little dielectric grease. You just added years to your alternator, starter, and ECU. It's 5 minutes. No code reader, no mystery faults, just clean paths for power to come home. Number 2, check for rodents monthly. One mouse, one night, one chewed wire, and your airbags, ABS, or even EV battery cooling could go down. Rodents don't need a reason beyond warm shelter and something soft to gnaw, and modern cars offer both: soy-based wiring, foam insulation, and engine bays that stay warm long after shutdown. That's why a single missed nest can lead to a 4-figure harness replacement or even a totaled car. Owners think this is rare. It's not. Shops see rodent jobs weekly. Honda even issues service bulletins about it. Repairs range from $600 to $10,000 depending on what got chewed. EVs fare worse. Those cooling lines and sensors are irresistible. Fix is dead simple. Pop the hood once or twice a month. Use a flashlight. Spray diluted peppermint oil around trouble spots. Wrap key harnesses in chili-laced rodent tape, and if you park long-term, screen off the vents and cowl. That 5-minute habit might save your whole wiring system and keep your car ticking well into the 700,000-mile club. Number 1, check fluids every week. One dry dipstick can cost you 10 grand. Seriously, engine oil isn't just in there. It's the only thing keeping metal from eating metal. Lose a quart, and that thin oil film vanishes. Bearings scuff, chains rattle, pressure drops, and the whole motor starts eating itself before the dash light even blinks. Coolant's just as brutal. Drop below the min line, and aluminum heads overheat fast. That expansion cracks gaskets and warps metal. A blown head gasket from a slow leak? That's a $1,500 mistake most people don't even see coming. Fix? Just peek once a week. Pop the hood, check the dipstick after 5 minutes parked. Look at the coolant bottle. Should never dip below the cold line. Glance at brake fluid, transmission fluid too if you've got a dipstick. Takes 2 minutes, costs nothing, and it catches disasters before they start. Fleet trucks do it. Irv Gordon's 2.8 million mile Volvo lived by it. You can too. Now you know what keeps a car alive past 700k miles. Next, let's fix what keeps you cool. These genius AC tips will double your chill. Click now before summer hits.